Today, we're going to put the following numbers in ascending order. That is, from smallest to greatest. Here are the numbers we're working with. 19 over 6, 2 and 2/8, 18 over 5, and 2 1/2. Our goal is to figure out how to arrange these numbers from least to greatest. To do this effectively, we need all the numbers in the same format so we can compare them fairly. I also want you to try to visualize what these numbers represent as we go through the steps. So here is step 1, converting improper fractions to mixed numbers. This is important to do first. Let's look at the two improper fractions, 19 over 6 and 18 over 5. An improper fraction is one where the numerator, the top number, is larger than the denominator, the bottom number. To compare these with our other numbers, we need to convert them to mixed numbers. Converting 19 over 6. To convert 19 over 6 to a mixed number, we divide 19 by 6. Think about it this way. How many whole groups of 6 can we make from 19? We can make 3 whole groups, since 3 times 6 equals 18, and we'll have 1 left over. This means 19 over 6 equals 3 1/6. The whole number is 3, the leftover part becomes our new numerator, 1, and the denominator stays the same at 6. Next, we're going to convert 18 over 5 into a mixed number. For this one, we divide 18 by 5. Think of how many whole groups of 5 can we make from 18. We can make 3 whole groups, since 3 times 5 equals 15, and we'll have 3 left over. This means 18 divided by 5 equals 3 3/5. The whole number is 3, the leftover part becomes our new numerator, 3, and the denominator stays the same as the number 5. Now, all our numbers are in mixed number format. 2 2/8, 2 1/2, 3 1/6, and 3 3/5. Now that all our numbers are mixed numbers, we can start by comparing the whole number parts. Looking at our 4 numbers, we can see that 2 of them have a whole number of 2, and 2 of them have a whole number of 3. Since we're arranging them in ascending order, we immediately know that the 2 numbers beginning with 2 will be our 2 smallest numbers, and the 2 numbers beginning with 3 will be our largest numbers. We only need to figure out the order within each pair. Let's start with 2 2/8 and 2 1/2. Both have the same whole number, so we need to look at the fractional parts. It's really helpful to think about what these fractions actually represent visually. We know that a half would be exactly halfway between 2 and 3. But what about 2/8? If we imagine dividing the space between 2 and 3 into 8 equal parts, taking 2 of those parts would give us about a quarter of the way, which is definitely less than halfway. Since 2/8 is less than 1/2, we know that 2 2/8 is smaller than 2 1/2. So far, our order is 2 2/8, then 2 1/2. Now let's compare 3 1/6 and 3 3/5. Again, both have the same whole number, 3, so we need to compare the fractional parts. You could find common denominators to compare these, but it's also important to develop number sense by thinking about what these fractions actually mean. The fraction 1/6 represents 1 piece out of 6 equal parts, which is quite small. The fraction 3/5 represents 3 pieces out of 5 equal parts. If we think about it, 3/5 is more than half. Since 2 1/2 would be half of 5, while 1/6 is much less than half. This tells us that 3 1/6 is smaller than 3 3/5. Our complete order is now 2 2/8, 2 1/2, 3 1/6, and 3 3/5. There's one more important step. Remember that 2 of our numbers were originally in improper fraction form, and we converted them to make comparison easier. Now we need to put them back in their original format. The number 3 1/6 was originally 19/6, and the number 3 3/5 was originally 18/5. So our final answer, putting these numbers in ascending order, will be 2 2/8, 2 1/2, 19/6, and 18/5. Another helpful way to understand this is to imagine a clothesline with the numbers 2, 3, and 4 marked on it, like a number line. Let's place each of our mixed numbers on this clothesline to see their positions. Starting with 3 1/6, which was originally 19/6, this number will sit between 3 and 4. Since 1/6 is a fairly small fraction, it will be positioned quite close to the number 3. Next, 2 2/8 has a whole number of 2, so it goes between 2 and 3. Since 2/8 is less than half, it's actually closer to a quarter. It will be positioned closer to 2 than to 3. Then we have 3 3/5, which also sits between 3 and 4. Since 3/5 is more than half, we know that this number will be positioned closer to 4 than to 3. Finally, 2 1/2 sits exactly halfway between 2 and 3 on our clothesline. We can clearly see it's larger than 2 2/8, but smaller than any of the numbers beginning with 3. Looking at the clothesline, we can visually confirm our order. 2 2/8, 2 1/2, 3 1/6, and 3 3/5. Now don't forget to convert those 2 numbers back to their original improper fraction form for your final answer being 2 2/8, 2 1/2, 19/6, and 18/5. That's it for now. Till next time.